We give it because we want people to know it. And I've always shared a conversation that I had with my mother when I wanted to become a doctor. She said to me, I told her I wanted to be a doctor. She said, you got it honest. Every time she'd see me, you got it honest. You got it honest. So one day I asked her, what does that mean? And she said that I was named after my great-grandmother, Margaret. My great-grandmother was a midwife in Alabama. Indian, black Indian with white braids, who rode a white horse, side saddle, curing the sick from county to county.
Really?
And my Louise, my middle name, Louise, was the name of the midwife who helped birth me. So I wanted to be a doctor. And she said I got it honest. Now, if I had never talked to my mother, she poured that in me. So that now every time I wear my hair in braids or down like my great-grandmother, I become her. And I think I became her when my mother told me that.
Wow.
So certainly seniors have a lot of information to give us if we just listen. And I'm hoping that the seniors that are listening to the program now begin to talk to their children, their next-door neighbors, the kids in the street, etc. Because they'll realize how much respect they will get from them just knowing things that they need to know.
That's great. Not passing on that knowledge, which is very, very important in our community. So,
absolutely.
So as you talk to your patients 60 plus, do they share any information about what the future might look like for them, or their siblings, or their children?
Well, yeah, the older adults, and Paul, I do home visits, and I'm on staff at 4 nursing homes, and I've come to this point in my career, probably about 10 years ago, when my older patients couldn't come to see me. So I told them, when you can't come to see me, I'll come to see you. And then when they couldn't stay home, they went to a nursing home, so I wanted to follow them. But what they share is they fear being isolated. They're scared of going outside, scared of staying inside. You go outside and you get robbed. You stay inside and you get robbed. They're bored, they're lonely, and they're sick. And that just is something that they think about all the time. So we really, when you talk about age out loud, these are some of the things that we have to. That's why I asked you, do you want to start a revolution? Not from the 60s, but a revolution for the 60 plus. So I'm taking your words and turning it around and making it a positive.
Yes.
Because the revolution for the 60 plus is how do we live in this community of technology and all this other stuff. The majority of people 60 plus don't like Facebook. Don't want to go on a computer. They're afraid that somebody's going to peep into their house. They don't even want to turn it on. So how do we live in this world and carve out an avenue for us to walk proudly on?
How do we assure that there are more options in housing and looking at a better transportation, be inclusive of the elderly population?
Well, Paul, that's a good question, because the majority of the seniors that I've encountered, and probably it's a cross-section of the seniors of African American culture or community. And we live in a sort of a schizoid world in 2017, because those of us who are over 60 was raised by parents and grandparents who say you go and sit down and be quiet. You don't talk back to your elders. And they say something about other communities that scare you or convince you that you should not be so vocal. I was always saying, so sit pretty in public. And I'm sure my mother is probably from the South, and that's where most of us are from. But so they don't think that they have a voice. They don't think that they can say, no, I don't want to be moved out of my apartment on Martin Luther King Boulevard. They just wait until it happens. And then they complain or we complain with each other, but don't make any noise where it means something.
Yes.
And when you make noise, you know that you got to vote.
Yes.
You know you got to be a part of the general or the larger or the major society to make sure that things go well for you. It has to be emphatic and polite and persistent.
Right.
So those are some of those are recommendations that I would love to be involved in a community organization, as like Barack Obama said, a community organizing spirit.
Yes.
Not for the youth, because they're not there yet.
They're not there yet.
But for the 60 plus, because we've been there.
Yes.
And we are there.
We are there. You know, if you just tuned in, my guest is Dr. Margaret Betts, and we're talking about the quality of life issues that means the most to our local residents across the country. You know, Marge, we've been talking about Old American Month theme and aging out loud. This theme, it seems simple, but there's a lot in the content of Age Out Loud and messaging to all these communities that we're going to be loud. We're going to be able to articulate this society preparing for an older generation. Is this the right way to go in the sense of putting together campaigns to educate the general communities about our challenges?
We need to begin to say, how do I want to age?
Right.
And where do I want to age?
Right.
We don't say that. We just go like cats to a slaughter when it's time for us to go.
Right.
And we may not like it, and this is some of the concerns that I have for my patients. We may not be able to afford it, because now senior high-rise or senior assisted living, $12,000 to $30,000, $3,000 a month.
Right.
So that's just for the facility.
Right.
So I do think that we need to begin, maybe in our mid-40s, mid-50s, to begin to think about our mid-60s, mid-70s, mid-80s.
Right.
Because eventually, we will, the majority of us, we're going to need somebody to take care of us, and we're going to have to leave the homes that we love so dearly and the independence that we thrive on to be assisted by someone else.
Yeah, but Marge, I know you probably have patients that are in a situation, there may be 3 generations in a household, and I think everybody wants to stay in their homes as long as possible, and that's probably what will happen. But I think this is a generation discussion, because again, when you talk about the 40-year-olds and where does the burden of care really take place, it's in another generation. So again, I think the key is speaking out, speaking loud, talking about, the challenges and the burdens, because a lot of people don't want to go into those high-rise or those fixed situations that house people and not create an opportunity for people to live out their lives as best as they possibly can.
Right, but you got to plan it. You got to plan it now.
Yes.
My motto is, in terms of kids taking care of you, part of your retirement plan should be educating your children, and then taking the best care of yourself as possible. Because if you educate your children, they'll have the wherewithal and the finances, and hopefully the educational acumen to be able to take care of you.
Right.
And if you take care of yourself, you'll live out this life without disease or preventing, accidents, etc.
Right, and that's that becomes some of our role in the sense of helping people plan and strategize for future changes. And certainly, I think the leading